into the sky to fly. Welcome to the Final Picture Show podcast. We're going to talk about flying tonight. Flying high again, just like Ozzy would be. And I'm here with Travis, because why not?
Why not?
Why not? Why not? Why not you, right? Why not? You know?
Why not? Why not Travis?
I feel like that's a good answer.
Instead of why not Zoidberg?
Why not Zoidberg? Yeah. Why not Zoidberg? Yeah. Why not Travis?
Why not Zoidberg? Why not Travis? I'm very Zoidberg of our friend group.
Yeah, especially the way you dance. Yeah, very, 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 very similar. Very, very similar. Yes. Welcome to the show tonight. We are firmly into the month of November, especially here in Memphis, because it is cold as shit today. It got down to like 18 degrees this morning when I got to work. It was bitter. My body was hurting. It was hurting.
Brag about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's very different. 18 degrees there is probably very different than 18 degrees here.
Well, you also get the river wind chill, so like it blows in that cold fucking river water, and oh god, it's like
we don't have any
needles.
Water to chill anything out. So
yeah. Chicago is worse. I will say Chicago, Michigan, other places that I've ventured to and fro amongst my journeys,
because you're getting that lake.
The lake is bad. Yeah. I would say those places are substantially worse. Ohio,
like miles of lake to blow in all that cold water air.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank y'all for coming to the show where we talk about the weather for the first 2 minutes of the show.
Oh, it's that. Are we at that age?
We're at that age, yeah. Right. Speaking. Well, we before we move into the show proper, we usually do our sign of the apocalypse, and oh god,
don't we ever have one?
Yeah. What's yours? I got several this week. What you got?
Well, my main one is we just don't have an opposition party, don't we? Like it just doesn't exist.
Yeah,
they just give in.
It's almost like there's this class above the rest of us that seems to not really give a shit about anybody else, and they'll toss the ball of control back amongst themselves, a little game of football, if you will. But meanwhile, us in the bleachers are freezing our asses off.
I was about to say,
starving to death at the inordinate prices of the football game itself.
Yeah, I was about to say, a lot of us are just standing outside in the parking lot, just trying to get in.
Trying to be like, why are we here anyway?
Yeah, why aren't we, playing our own game?
Just suck the exhaust, right? Just end it. That's
basically.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, there was our existential crisis.
I was about to say,
presented in the form of football.
Convoluted metaphor.
Don DeLillo would be proud. Anyway,
I think it was.
Gosh, yeah, mine was similar to that. It was the biggest layoff in the 22 years. And here locally, that impacted a lot of people in Memphis. Some closer than others, I'll say that. I don't want to go into too many details there, but it has been a long week. Been a long week. Yeah. So this movie was a welcome change of pace from the real apocalypse that is breathing down our necks outside.
The very fast-paced apocalypse.
Yes, at least this one was colorful.
Absolutely. Oh, gorgeous. That's the first thing I thought. It was like, oh, that's beautiful. Red sand desert, blue sky.
Let's just jump into the show. Here's the little intro. I've got, well, I know it's not a lot, but I tried so hard. All the time we spent, wonder where it went. Why was time move on? Why must we grow up? Yeah. There's the song. I'm really liking the ska intro. I need to find a ska apocalypse movie. If it exists, if not, then I guess that's our Patreon. We're writing ska apocalypse.
Oh, hell yes.
Oh, Lord. Yes. All right. Ooh. Yes, tonight's movie is Spirits of the Air, Gremlins of the Clouds. That is a title. And this movie,
hell of a title.
You might be like, that sounds a little pretentious. You might be right. This is the good kind of pretension, though. This is the good kind of pretension. This is the kind of pretension I can fuck with. I fucks with, as the kids say.
Oh God, that's right.
Yeah, I really, we'll get into my feelings in this movie here in a minute, because we are in a select company on YouTube where we also post our podcast. For those of you who watch there, hey, for those of you who do not, you could go there and find some bonus episodes as well. The reviews for this movie on YouTube, we would be the 5th, and we are already the longest at 5 minutes and 18 seconds. So there aren't a lot of like, one of them, he was good, but he's like wearing a mask, and so it's really hard to hear what the hell he was saying. And
that's
the mask thing was baffling. I don't know I don't know the YouTuber. I just went to reviews before we started recording, and I was like, let's see what other people said about this movie. And I was listening to some of them, and most of them kind of gave it like middling reviews, which I don't really agree with. We'll get to that.
I don't agree with.
Thank you. Let's see. You and I agree. I was worried. Before
we agree.
Yeah, I was going to say, before we didn't talk about this movie at all before we hit the record button behind the scenes. So I had no idea how you felt about this movie. I was going to be like, this is my first time watching it. Obviously, your first time watching it. So it was kind of interesting to have that conversation here in just a moment. But for that, let's talk about the plot and the background. And like I said, not many people have reviewed this movie on YouTube. Now, there are plenty of reviews on Rotten Tomato, plenty of reviews on IMDb, as well as plenty of written reviews from the late 80s, early 90s when this movie came out.
Okay.
But as far as YouTube video podcast reviews of this, not many people have touched on this subject, which surprises me a little bit based on the director and writer of it, because he's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Talking about Alex Proyas, who is a Greek-born Egyptian who was partially raised in Australia. There you go.
Yeah.
Talking about that for influences. Yeah. This was his first movie, and it screams first movie vibes all over it.
It does. Oh, man.
It does.
It makes all the sense in the world.
Now, this was not the first thing he had filmed. He had done a bunch of shorts as well as some music videos. In fact, he was filming a music video at the same time as this movie, using the same camera, the same cast, the same lighting, the same crew. Everything. All right, so we'll talk about that in just a second. But he would be mostly known for those sci-fi movie fans for 2 films. One is The Crow, which came out in 1994, which would be a few years after this. And the only good Crow movie of all of them that they've made.
I was gonna say the same thing. I refuse to even try the remake. I have no interest.
Yeah. And The Crow is not
the same. They gave him the same name. It's like, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Like
don't do that.
The other movie, the other Crow movies.
We all know what happened.
I don't think. Yeah, like, and you can't. Come on.
Yeah. For those that don't know, Brandon Lee, the main actor behind the character of the Crow in the movie, he would be killed on the set with a accidental gun discharge, which would kind of lead to his career ending, and he was kind of just getting started. He had been in a couple things before that, but that was kind of like his big new thing. And The Crow, if you go, I've watched it recently. We watched it during Halloween, me and my wife did. Awesome. It screams just attitude and tone in 90s culture. As a movie itself, it's a very simple movie. It's a very basic revenge story played out with just a lot of like attitude. Not unlike this movie that we're talking about here, which is also like a very simple story. It's played out with just like a bunch of attitude and how you present it. And it's great. I really loved it. I loved it. Yeah.
Now I see why. Okay. I get it now why I liked it so much.
Yeah. Other than The Crow, he also did Dark City in 98.
Hell yeah.
Now, we'll probably never talk about The Crow other than now for something completely different and things of the sort. Maybe a bonus episode here or there. Yeah. But we will talk about Dark City at one point, which came out around the same time as The Matrix and would heavily borrow from Dark City. And they have similar stories about characters kind of awakening from dreamlike states to realize that the world they see is not reality.
Real simulation and simulacrum type stuff.
Yes, exactly. Dark City is maybe a little bit more original than The Matrix in terms of how much The Matrix borrows from philosophy, to the point that, I mean, fucking Baudrillard's book is in the goddamn Matrix. Whenever they go to buy drugs from Keanu at the beginning, that's where he keeps his drugs.
That's where he keeps his drugs.
Which is also where I would keep mine, but the book's not very big, so obviously he's not selling much because it's a very small book, Keanu. The book that they have in the video is much larger. Maybe it's like a bound philosophy collection set.
Okay.
Giving Keanu the benefit of the doubt. He is a working man. Maybe he could afford such expenditures. In 2002, Mr. Proyos would do Garage Days, which of all of his movies, that is the only one I have never seen.
Oh.
Do not know anything about that. In 2004, though, he would come back with I, Robot, a movie that we will eventually talk about, which a lot of people hate, and I don't necessarily have feelings one way or the other, because I think I've seen it once ever, and I don't really know if it stuck with me in any way, shape, or form. So
I've seen it a few times. I'm a fan, I think. I think I like it.
All right. In 2009, he would also direct Knowing, the Nicolas Cage pre-apocalyptic movie that we will talk about one day.
Which, that one I haven't actually seen. I've seen clips of it. I've never actually watched it, though.
Oh, I own it. It's a good one. I don't mind that movie at all. It kind of was a series of Nicolas Cage post-apocalyptic, pre-apocalyptic movies. One of these days we'll do just a month, maybe 2 months, where we just talk about Nicolas Cage apocalyptic movies, because he's been in a lot of them.
Yeah.
We've been narrowly avoiding focusing on him specifically up until now.
Well, it would be a big thing for us, because I think both of us, we agree on this, that he's one of our favorite actors. So.
Oh God, yeah, love Nick Cage, love him,
absolutely,
love him. Yeah. And in 2016, his last movie he directed, which was a box office bomb and was also reviewed horribly. I think it's a little underrated. It's not as bad as people say it is. It's not great, but it's not super bad. It was Gods of Egypt. That came out in 2016. That was his last movie that he has directed. He is currently working on a project that we'll talk about in a second. But that was his last big one.
I see. I think I remember that movie. I think it was one of those that I only saw once. Also, but
it was like a big box office. It was supposed to be like a big deal, and it just kind of fell on its face. And you know.
Well, would that have been around the time they were doing like Troy and Well, no, it would have been way past Gladiator, but
I think it's in that same kind of vein, but it came out much after the fact. I think had it come out around that same time, it probably would have done a little bit better. I think it came out
because by then you'd had Gladiator, then you'd had Troy, then you had 300, which may have been around the same time. This was being that much after. Yeah, it kind of lost a lot of steam by then. Yeah. Like people were kind of like, we've been here. So
in all of his movies, visual aesthetic is like a big deal. He's really into visuals. In this movie, maybe more so than any of the rest of his movies, you get to see some of his intense visuals. Almost every single frame of this movie could be like a Pink Floyd album cover.
Oh, yeah.
Like at any point in time, you could just like pause the DVD and be like, yeah, that could be a Pink Floyd album cover. That could be a Pink Floyd album cover. Like, there's just so many of them. So many of them.
That's a really great way to put that.
His visual aesthetic would carry over into his music videos, because up into this movie coming out, that was what he was known for. So he had directed music videos by Boy Meets Girl, Sting, Alphaville, Crowded House. He actually directed the Crowded House song that we talked about like episodes ago when we were talking about Doom Runners. What was the name of that song?
Oh, God.
I can't remember now. Anyway, we'll just skip over that. I had no time to remember. He also did several NXS songs, including Kiss the Dirt, which was the music video that he was filming at the exact same time he was filming this movie.
See, I don't know if I've seen that video.
It's a pretty cool... Imagine this movie visually with just the sexy boys of NXS just crooning everywhere.
I'm all over it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I love NXS. NXS is great 80s
Hell
band.
yeah, dude.
Great 80s band.
I mean, I don't want you to change, Oh damn! I was trying to wait. I'm trying to make a way to say "don't change." I fucked that up. NXS song. I like them.
Yeah, they were one of those. When I was growing up, they were one of those bands that my parents like just inexplicably liked for whatever
Oh
reason.
yeah.
Like when I used to raid my parents' CD collection, they had like George Strait, like Red, fucking like Tom Petty, the normal stuff that like some
stuff.
Kids from the 70s would listen to. But then they also had like weird 90s stuff, so they had like Nirvana, Red Hot Chili Peppers, stuff like that. But then randomly in the middle of all that would be like INXS, The Smiths, things like that. So that was kind of growing up and listening to my parents' music was a wide assortment of stuff, which I think kind of influenced what I listened to.
Mine, right?
Yeah. Yeah, my parents are born in the late 60s, mid to late 60s.
Oh, yeah, no, my parents are like mid-50s, so...
Yeah, a little bit younger. So you can't talk about Alex Proyas without talking about all the movies he almost directed, because his list is very small. He is not unlike Tarantino in his being very exclusive with his filmography.
Yeah.
But he also has turned down a lot of movies, or has started some movies and then gotten fired, or has given up on productions. And here is a bunch of them. There's a lot.
Yeah.
So in 1993, he was attached to direct Casper, but he wanted to take it in a more adult direction, and that resulted in him being fired.
Yeah, fair.
1998, he was supposed to direct Quatermass and the Pit remake. That never happened. In 1999, he was going to direct Mask of the Red Death, the Edgar Allan Poe story. That also never happened.
Yeah.
Also in 1999, he was tied to this movie called Risen with a Z, which I couldn't find much about.
I feel like I've heard of that.
As well as a time travel movie. That's all you could find about that one. It was apparently an idea that he discussed with a producer verbally, so there was never anything written down. It was just an idea that was like, yeah, that sounds great, let's do it. And then they were like, actually, fuck that. So, in 2000, he was attached to something called Enoch's Portal. Similarly, in 2000, he was also associated with something called Berserker. In 2001, he was going to do an adaptation of the Harlan Ellison short story, which would be called Drive. That also never happened. Also, in 2001, he was going to be directing one of the Jurassic Parks. That also never happened.
Yeah.
2007, he was going to be doing Dracula Untold, which that movie did come out, but he did not direct it. In 2008, he was going to do an adaptation of another short story, one of his things that he likes to do, which was going to eventually be called The Unpleasant Profession of Joan Hogg, or Jen Hogg, or something like that. Similarly, that also never happened. In 2009, this is after I, Robot came out in 2004, which was based on an Isaac Asimov story. He also had was given the rights to the Isaac Asimov story called Foundation, which he was also going to turn into a movie, and also that never happened.
Well, no, because Foundation, now it's out. It's like a series on some streaming service, one of them.
Yeah. I have not watched it. I've heard, I don't know if I've heard it's good or bad. I don't know if I've heard anything about it, honestly. But
I'm not that familiar with the story, so...
I own the book, but I haven't read it in years. So I couldn't. It's not one that I could just like kind of remember off the top of my head what happens or what it's about or anything of the sort. In 2009, he was also associated to direct something called Tripods, which same thing, never happened. In 2010, he was going to do an adaptation of Paradise Lost, which would have starred Bradley Cooper and Casey Affleck. Yeah, never happened. 2010, something called Amped. That's all we know about it. And in 2020, he was going to do a movie called A New Country with Guy Pearce, which was canceled because of COVID.
I bet that would have been good. Just name and actor recognition alone.
Yeah, right. The list goes on. In 2021, he was going to do a TV show, basically a TV show expanding the universe of Dark City. That never happened.
Oh, that would be so cool.
That would have been dope. That would have been dope. Other things that he turned down include A Nightmare on Elm Street, one of the sequels, Dream Child. He turned that down.
Mm-hmm.
They also approached him about doing one of the X-Men's, I think Last Stand or Dark Phoenix, one of them. He turned that down.
I would have. I could kind of. Could you imagine an X-Men movie like The Crow or something? Yeah. That would be
something like that. God. Very, very moody. Very, very, very moody.
Could you imagine? Oh, it'd be so good. Fun. I mean, like
that would have been cool.
I mean, X-Men. I feel like there's so much untapped potential. I mean, they kind of get into the moodiness, like the emotion of it, but like if it was the main thing, just like make it about one little thing that they're dealing with, one very simple storyline, and then just that attitude. And I think they should have. God, that'd be so good.
He also was briefly thought about to do Quantum of Solace, so James Bond as well, which he also never did that either. So dude has been associated with a lot of different things. People obviously have seen his visual aesthetic and can immediately think about it going in a lot of different kind of genres, and he's turned down a lot of movies. Turned down a lot of things.
Yeah. Oh God.
We go on.
I should be so lucky to be to turn down or to be thought of or something. God, that'd be an amazing. Like that would be my entire resume. Like I turned down this movie. I turned down this. You know, like
right.
Have you done any job? No, but I turned down a lot.
Or I turned down a lot of jobs.
I was considered for some things, never got it.
It's like a very 90s slacker thing to change your resume just to be like, rather than list your jobs you've done, list the jobs that you've actively been considered for at various times. I was briefly in the running for sales rep at Walmart. Briefly.
Oh.
They thought about me until they read my resume, and then they moved on.
Oh, God.
But there was a moment where they thought about it.
We need more 90s aesthetic, I think.
It'll
probably slacker aesthetic. I think it's, well, I don't know.
So
that's reserved for prosperous times. We're not there right now.
Not yet. So this guy had quite the career, and this movie is probably, of all of his movies, maybe the one that people have slept on or not seen the most, because like I said, not very well reviewed, not super highly reviewed now. But he ended up doing a lot of big things. The cast, we'll talk about them real fast because there's not really much to talk about. There's only 4 people in this movie, really. So you get Michael Lake, who was mostly known as a producer, and he would eventually produce a movie that we will talk about called Fortress, which is a Christopher Lambert movie directed by Stuart Gordon about the post-apocalypse.
I might know that movie.
It's a pretty good one. They made a sequel to it as well that I own both those on DVD. They're a good time.
I think I have heard of those, yeah.
Playing his sister is Melissa Davis, and we will talk about her again because she is also in Dead End Drive-In, which is another Australian apocalypse movie.
Nice.
Norman Boyd was only ever in this movie.
And also in the opening credits, he's The Norm.
The Norm. That was his nickname. Yeah.
The Norm.
Only ever in this, which is honestly a little sad. I thought he was great.
I enjoyed him. And I love the idea of, and it's such an Australian nickname, The Norm.
Oh, The Norm. Yeah. A lot of the reviews of this movie have criticized the acting and said that it was kind of on the bad side. I didn't mind it at all. I thought it was over the top, but
it was a little melodramatic. That's the whole thing.
It fit the aesthetic.
Absolutely,
it fit the aesthetic. I thought the last person we'll talk about in the the last person we'll talk about in the cast is Rhys Davis.
Yeah, Rhys,
who only was ever in 2 TV shows and nothing else. So just this and 2 TV shows. That is it.
And now, who did Rhys Davis play?
I believe it was the person that's like walking in that you see in the background that's slowly making their way. But I could be wrong. He's listed as a cast member, but it's not listed as like what exactly, what role they played or anything of the sort. So not 100% certain there. So the cast members never really got into a whole lot after this, although Michael Lake would be a producer for a lot of things. But the editor of this film did quite a few things. So the editor here is Craig Wood, and excuse me, I'm about to sneeze, I think. So Craig Wood would edit nearly every single Gore Verbinski movie that he has done. So Pirates of the Caribbean, The Mexican, Weatherman, Rango, and tons of other Gore Verbinski movies. He also would edit some James Gunn stuff, so Guardians of the Galaxy, as well as some other Marvel and superhero-related movies, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Kraven, and the Eternals. So went on to quite the career as an editor.
Yeah.
The cinematographer of this piece, who does a great job, would really only ever do just a couple other things, honestly. Not a whole lot. Biggest other credit to talk about for him would be he did one episode of the Red Shoe Diaries, which was a softcore porn on Cinemax.
Oh, David Duchovny.
Not the first time we've talked about it, I was going to say. We've talked about the Red Shoe Diaries a few times now.
Boy, that's a real that's a
review for
age.
A different day. You guys want to hear us talk about Taxi Cab Confessions?
Real sex.
Yeah, Real Sex. Remember that? Yeah, I remember that.
God, HBO. That was a real time and place for.
Yes. Before the internet, there was late night HBO. That was the world. The dark web was HBO in the 90s without a filter. Speaking of without a filter, let's jump into the background of this movie. Not much to go over here. Like we said, this is kind of a more obscure Australian movie from the 80s that presents the apocalypse in a very, very different way than we would see with Mad Max. But here's a little bit about it. It was shot in the same location as Mad Max 2 and Furiosa, as well as Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, were all shot in this same location, which is Broken Hill, which is in New South Wales, Australia.
Gorgeous. I need to go check it out.
It actually visually, so it is the spot they chose is in between a mountain range, which is a prominent feature of the movie, right?
Yes.
The guy that meets up with them is trying to get out of this mountain range, and the only way he can is to fly above it. And so that's why you need the flying machine that becomes a part of the movie. If you go out, this is for those West Texas listeners. If you're driving in West Texas and you head further west and you go to the Jefferson Davis Mountain Range, Marfa Alpine area, you similarly are in a mountain range where you are surrounded by mountains on all sides. So it's kind of visually has a very similar kind of feel where you kind of have like desert for days, but you also have a big ring of mountains around you in the landscape. So it has like, just visually, you could, whenever you go to Marfa, every time I go to Marfa, it immediately is like, it makes me want to just be like, fuck this, let's just grab a camera and film a movie. Because this is beautiful. Like, I don't know how, obviously a lot of people have filmed in Marfa. I was going to say, I don't know how many people have filmed in Marfa. Fucking Paul Thomas Anderson filmed in Marfa. But it's a very beautiful place to film, and more people should. Coen Brothers did as well with No Country for Old Men. Yeah. Paul Thomas Anderson with There Will Be Blood. Those are all movies that visually kind of look similar to this.
Wasn't there
this has a very Australian touches.
Wasn't there a movie named Marfa Girl or something like that?
Perhaps. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Marfa Girl.
I love
it was
Marfa.
2012.
My biggest regret about leaving Texas was not being able to just head to Marfa every couple weekends and hang out there for the day.
I've never been there.
It's beautiful. They used to have a great pizza place. I don't know if it's still open anymore. Someone will have to Google check that for me. But there used to be an amazing pizza place. I do not remember the name. It had like a very basic name.
If we ever get a chance to
Adjective Pizza.
I like that.
That's my pizza place. Adjective Pizza.
If we ever have the means, excuse, anything to film anything that would be perfect for it, you gotta find a way to get me there.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, definitely love Marfa.
We have to check it
out. So the budget here was about $500,000 American.
Ah,
there you go. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that seems kind of like a lot for some kind of unknown actors and
a director who at this point in time had mostly done music videos. So
this
quite
is
a budget.
That's quite the budget. Yeah.
A lot of expense went into this. You can tell that.
Yeah.
This movie is really brilliantly filmed and looks amazing. You can tell the
Oh.
aesthetic is very intentional. So this movie would actually be re-released in a new remastered edition in 2018 on Blu-ray, which is where I watched it at. And it looks amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably the version I watched then, because I got
probably I was gonna say probably a transfer of that.
Yeah.
So the Rolling Stones magazine, which you got to be on the cover of, gave the soundtrack to this movie 4 stars, and the vinyl of it.
That was one of the things I was going to talk about. Is the music is
amazing. Yeah, the music is amazing.
Gorgeous.
This would be like what now, the 5th or 6th Australian movie we've talked about that we've been like, the music is really fucking good. It's almost like a theme with Australian movies at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rolling Stones gave the soundtrack 4 stars, which put it on. I don't know if it made their end of the year list, if they even did them back then, but I think most years that would have put it on the end of the year list for Rolling Stones. And the vinyl has become something of a collector's item, where it's kind of hard to find. But if you can find it, it is pretty sweet little find to get a hold of. Apparently, there. So there's a little bit about the background of this film. It was also nominated for 3 awards, 1 for production, 1 for costuming, and 1 for the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And it would come out into the world on June 29th, 1989, which brings us to the Travis Trivia. So this movie came out 25 days after the Tiananmen Square massacre / riots, whatever you want to call it.
Massacre's a good word.
Massacre. Yes. It also would come out 21 days after the largest bank robbery in history.
Oh.
And 5 months before the Berlin Wall would collapse.
Wow. It was in the middle of history. See, I can see why it got overshadowed.
Very specific time in history, yes. This is a very... 1989 is like one of those really important years in history.
Oh, yeah.
I think, I don't know, I think 2025 also is going to be like one of those
I think so.
years that we look back on like 30, 40 years from now as being like, that year, a lot of shit changed that year in the world.
Fingers fucking crossed. Anyway.
Fingers fucking crossed indeed. So other things that were crossing their fingers in 1989 were the soundtrack of the world, because obviously music is such a prominent feature in this film. Yes. Here is what was going on in the world, as also the director got his, broke in his bread and butter on making music videos, which is what a lot of directors used to do. Yeah. I don't know if they're still doing that. I don't even know if people make music videos anymore.
That's a good
MTV is off the air now. Dead Kennedys won. Thank God. But I don't know where the hell you watch music videos anymore. Maybe Dead Kennedys shouldn't. Well,
Yeah.
Modern Dead Kennedys are actually Nazis themselves, so they kind of flipped out there. Yeah, Jello Biafra is still dope as shit, but the other guys are terrible people. I believe they supported. That
sucks.
I believe they supported Trump or something like that.
Jello's the only one I remember, or recognize.
Jello's the only one worth remembering. East Bay Ray can go suck it. He's the other big guy. So here's the other songs that were popular. Richard Marx had "Satisfied." Not his only big song at the time, because Richard Marx was also here with his other big hit, the only Richard Marx song I remember, which is "Right Here Waiting."
Yep.
And the only reason I know that song is because of those CD compilation commercials they used to air late night back in the 90s and 2000s, where you would always hear that song featured as like sounds of the 80s.
They were really trying to sell us on Richard Marx.
They really wanted us to like Richard Marx, and I just don't. I don't want. He has a cool name. He's a cool name. That's like before the internet, you might be like Richard Marx with an X. Like, is he a punk? No, not at all.
Right?
The antithesis of punk. Speaking of the antithesis of punk, another big song of the time was "Baby Don't Forget My Number" by prominent sellouts, Milli Vanilli.
That's right.
Yeah.
Would you even call them sellouts? Would you just call them plants, industry plants, like manufactured something?
Basically, manufactured pop,
manufactured product.
Yeah, they really were. The other big song in America was Ozzy Osbourne and Lita Ford with "Close My Eyes Forever,"
Yep.
which is an amazing song. Now, in Australia, because we also are talking about an Australian movie.
Yep.
In Australia, here's what was going on. The big thing in the news that happened around this time was mortgage rates in Australia had jumped to 17%. Holy shit. That is astronomical. Times were maybe not so good in Australia.
Yeah, no.
But the songs were the top 3 songs, or not the top 3. We've talked about this. Information hard to come by these days.
When you said the mortgage rate got up, I should have said, "Oh, no." And there's my Australian.
Good job there, I guess. I don't know how to respond to that. That completely threw me off guard. I'm just like, yeah. The fuck does that mean? Anyway, the 3 songs from Australia I felt like writing down. Based on what various AIs I looked at told me, because I can't go to Billboard anymore. That'd just be too difficult. But a couple cursory Google searches revealed the following 3 songs were big at the time. One of them was Bette Midler with "Wind Beneath My Wings." That was big in Australia. It was also big in America at the same time.
Oh, hell yeah.
Kind of an overcrossing there. The Eternal Flame by the Bangles. That was big in Australia.
I mean, is this burning...
Another song that you would always hear during those like 80s compilation commercials back in the day. And the last song that we'll talk about was big in Australia at this time. It was also big in Australia for the entire year. I think it was like their 3rd or 4th biggest song of the entire year in Australia. And that is "The Look" by Roxette.
Ooh, she's got
underrated little song there.
I like Roxette. Holy shit.
I do too. I like Roxette. I think they don't get enough people talking about Roxette. Maybe enough people talk about Roxette. Honestly, I don't know how many fucking people talk about Roxette. So they might be perfectly rated. I don't know.
They might be exactly rated.
They might be exactly rated. They are perfectly where they need to be.
Well, see, I like 2-person bands, though. You know,
so do I.
Like, God, what's the other one? Wang Chung is another one. Was Duran Duran? Were they? No, they weren't.
No, they had a whole group. They had a whole group of people. White Stripes, obviously, just like getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
The Pac AD is a good one from Canada.
Lightning Bolt, I saw them in concert once in college. Ooh. That was fun. I was heavily intoxicated, and if you know anything about Lightning Bolt, that was an extreme experience that I've ended up throwing up outside because I got like discombobulated and nauseated and any other expressions you could come up with for fucked up. Other 2-people band. There's a lot of 2-people bands out there.
Yeah.
Speaking of 2-people bands, we are a 2-person podcast, and we are going to take a little water break and then come back and talk about the plot of Spirits of the Air, Gremlins of the Clouds. Mm-hmm. All right, next week we are going to be back to talk about a movie from 2001 directed by the man who would be the creator of Ghost in the Shell. This is not an anime, though. This is a live-action film called Avalon.
Oh, one of my favorite. Avalon's a really good Roxy music song.
It is an incredibly good Roxy music song. It is,
but this has nothing to do with that, I bet.
Probably not, but maybe it does. We'll find out next week.
See the Bryans.
Welcome back to talk about a underrated movie. Let's talk about our feelings up front, because this movie does not have much of a plot, which apparently pisses off a lot of people who have reviewed it. That seems to be like a common theme, is that people will point out that the visuals are beautiful and stunning, but the plot is hard to follow or non-existent. I will agree with one of those points. The visuals are beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
I found the plot to be very simple and very easy to follow.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people commented on that this movie is incredibly difficult to follow because there's no plot. To them, I want to present some of the other exhibits that we have talked about recently, because this is one of those moments where I don't want to get on my high horse and be like, you haven't watched enough films. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I don't think you've watched enough weird-ass movies, because this movie, they actually speak in.
Yeah.
They have conversations about what it is they're doing.
this was way more engaging than what
it was way more than you get in Tetsuo, you get in Russian Symphony, you get in like the last 4 movies we reviewed all have substantially more plot than this movie.
You know what movie I would describe as pretty to look at and a very simple, not much of a plot?
Yeah.
Avatar.
Yeah.
That's how I describe that movie. I think this has a little bit more going for it than that, though.
Yeah, visually, I would agree. This does have a lot more. So the cool thing about this movie is every single thing, even the bat scene at the end of it, is filmed in camera. No special effects afterwards.
Awesome.
They filmed that by using, I think they tore up a bunch of little pieces of paper, and then they blew it across a room while they were filming the moon in a certain specific kind of way, or replicated the filming of the moon using some kind of like cheap homemade device, something like that. Yeah, all the visuals here are in camera, so that is pretty impressive.
That is awesome. See,
because there's a lot of this movie that, like we said at the beginning, almost every single frame of it, you could pause it and say, that looks like it could be the cover of a Pink Floyd or a Psychedelica album cover, Prague 100%. Album cover.
Yeah.
Rush, whatever group you want to throw out, you could easily put several of these things on
Simple
album covers
Minds,
for them.
Who else?
Yeah. Lots of people. God knows. The list could go on and on and on and
honestly,
on and on and on and on.
New Order.
Yes. There's a lot of them. So I really liked this movie. I don't know if it's just my personality. I watched one review of this that said, like, if you like plotless, narrativeless movies that are like in the spirit of like Jodorowsky or David Lynch, then you'll love this movie.
Oh, okay.
And I tended to agree with that, but I like movies like that.
Yes.
I think
movies, God, yes.
I think a lot of movies have too much fucking talking. Mm-hmm. And so movies that have little talking in them and rely more on just the visual aesthetic, I think that gets into like the show don't tell mentality, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's like, why am I not just reading a book?
Yeah. Now I will say there are some dialogue heavy movies that I do like. But...
Oh yeah, God yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Larry Glenn Ross is great.
Oh God, yeah. And then getting into Tarantino and
Tarantino is great. Kevin Smith movies definitely have a time and place. Linklater has I love his dialogue. Yes,
but you have a movie like this, it's I think if they really, I don't know, if they drowned it out.
As a person who's tried writing movies, dialogue is so fucking hard to write. To get how people talk and the timings and the implications and the tiny little subtleties and how do people say things without saying things and imply with how they speak and their tones and changing of pacing of all of that stuff, to try to replicate that in writing is really, really fucking difficult.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, I get why people like Christopher Guest kind of have, like, that, like, here's the framework of what the scene should look like, and we just improv and fill in the blanks. Because trying to replicate in writing what it is we would, or how a conversation would go, beat for beat, note for note, bar for bar, is a very difficult thing to do. And some people can do it. Like Tarantino is amazing at it. Kevin Smith is very fucking good at it. Robert Rodriguez is also very strong at it.
Oh yeah.
But not everyone can, and I feel like a lot of directors that can't just shouldn't, and then they do, and it ends up horrible. The Room, for example.
Beyond that's the first thing I thought of.
I was going to say, beyond Tommy Wiseau's inability to act, like that's one thing. Visually, The Room is not like atrocious. It looks okay. It's filmed okay. Yeah. It looks like they had some money when they filmed it. Now, why they filmed it on 2 different kinds of cameras at the same time, I have no fucking idea. But hey, you got all that money, you might as well burn through it.
Yeah, well, you know, what else are you going to do with it?
The IRS is going to come for it. Just burn it down. So, like, but like the major problem with The Room is that anytime that people have like a conversation, it sounds like aliens, because it's someone who cannot write dialogue, desperately trying to write a dialogue-heavy movie, when you just could have cut out a lot of the dialogue and it would have improved the movie.
It's so insane. Yeah, and not even the people that are, like, not even just the Tommy Wiseau lines, which are the ones that everybody remembers.
Yeah.
But even the lines with like Lisa and oh god, I remember too much about this movie.
Apart, Lisa.
The god, the like her lines are insane. Like when she's talking to her mom, what the hell?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's like, anyway, how's your sex life?
Yeah, I mean, and then that little boy or whatever, the young kid, the way he talked about like wanting to watch them have sex. What was he wanting to do? Anyway, what the hell was that?
We're getting way down the rabbit hole.
We have gone way off.
Let's get back on track.
It's easy to talk about things that annoy you.
It's true. So this movie does not suffer from that albatross around its neck.
Oh no!
It instead embraces the fact that the conversations are kind of a little awkward and stilted. Yeah. The performances are a little awkward and stilted. And instead, it relies more heavily on the visuals to tell its story, and it does so amazingly. What were your feelings on this movie?
I think because I don't look movies up. I wait until you do and then tell me about it. I don't know why I do that, but I don't know. I like to learn from it by you, I guess, in the process. I don't know why, because usually for every other movie I watch, I'm on IMDb while I'm watching it. But for some reason, for this, I like to go in. I don't know. I like the idea of like you do the research. Maybe it's just I don't want to do work. But when you said there was the same director as The Crow and Dark City and iRobot and all that, I was just like, I get it. I totally get it. I understand what I liked about it and what I where it came from, or at least what it became, the style and everything. Totally. And also knowing that he was doing a lot of like in excess music videos totally makes sense. Now here's the one thing I do think: if this movie was made anytime between I'm gonna say like 2001-ish, 2002-ish to now, that maybe a little bit earlier, that girl Betty would have been played by Helena Bonham Carter.
Oh God, yes, totally.
That's the main thing I kept thinking. I was like, this would be Helena Bonham Carter if it was nowadays, or in the past like 20 years.
Oh, definitely, most assuredly, most assuredly,
absolutely. And
I'm glad you really liked this movie. I also really, really liked this movie. Like I said, there's a lot of reviews online. Some are positive, a lot are overwhelmingly negative. Even the positive ones tend to look downly upon the plot. I really liked its simplicity. I thought the simplicity of the plot was one of the better things about it, because it makes it easier to talk about what it is, like the aesthetics of it, because the plot is very simple. So the plot is basically the apocalypse has happened. We don't know what caused it. We have no idea. It's happened years in the past, because we are with these adult children, a brother and sister, one in a wheelchair, the other is we never really find out what her story is, but she seems to be very religious, but also very mentally unwell. As she is always changing clothes and taking on different kinds of like almost personalities at times. Yeah,
she's like a crazy religious person that you would see in a Stephen King novel.
Yes, and every time you see her, she is in a completely different wardrobe from a completely different time period.
Yep. I loved it.
So she's always changing.
That part I really liked.
She's living with her brother. His name is Felix. Her name is Betty. They're living in this home in the middle of nowhere. Out in the middle of the Australian nowhere. There's nothing around for miles. And then one day, this guy shows up. Who is called Smith. And he's a stranger. They don't know anything about him. He doesn't know anything about them. He shows up, and Betty does not trust him. She finds him to be very suspicious. She basically calls him a devil or a demon.
Yep.
Because she feels like he represents something evil.
Yes.
And she actually threatens to kill him several times. She never does, but she really would like to at different times.
Yeah, and she keeps pushing her brother to get rid of him.
Yes.
So
she wants the brother to just get rid of him. Just get rid of him.
Yeah.
She gets very annoyed that her brother doesn't want to.
Yeah.
Now, we never find out what happens to Mom, but we do know that Dad of Felix and Betty here has died some time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And when he died, Felix promised him he would not try to fly again. Because Felix is an inventor, specifically of flying machines. And he is in a wheelchair. And so we can kind of make the inference that he perhaps got hurt in trying to make one of these flying machines.
Yes.
And Betty kind of confirms that later on while she says, like, maybe you'll just get hurt like my brother and not die. As she said, he's done this to, like, a lot of people that have come through. We also don't know if that's true.
No.
And that may not be true, honestly. We don't 100% know.
You know, I never actually thought of it that way.
I was going to say, he might be the very first person that that's shown up here. I do not know.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
So when the stranger Smith gets here, him and Felix, they kind of immediately have like a mutual bond.
Yeah.
Over Felix's desire to fly.
Yep.
Because Smith has some people after him, and we never really find out who these people are, but we just see them in the distance getting closer and closer and closer.
Yeah.
And they're like similarly black-cloaked, ominous figures in the middle of a desert wasteland.
It kind of reminded me of Six String Samurai.
I was going to say, very Six String Samurai-ish. Yes, exactly, yes. Where you have like these hooded black cloak figures just kind of pursuing this person. And he's kind of dressed like them at first as well, Smith is.
Yeah.
So that kind of made me to think, like, was he one of them at one point in time and they're after him for something he did? We don't really ever know. No. We know that they're after him and that he can't go back the way he came because they're after him.
Yeah.
But also he is in this kind of mountain range where the only way out of this area is to fly above the clouds, hence the title of the movie.
Yep.
Yeah. So he basically sticks around for about a week or so, a little over, I don't forget how long it is, about a week, where Felix tries to build various flying machines, and Smith helps him.
Yeah,
much to the chagrin of Betty, their sister. As he's originally, the plan is for them all three to fly away and get out of this place.
Mm-hmm.
And we find out later on what happens there. But that's the basic setup of the movie. It's a very simple story.
It is.
It almost is like, I was going to say, it kind of reminds me of like some Southern literature short stories, like Flannery O'Connor, William Faulkner. Very simple premise. Kind of like a lot of Westerns you used to see back in the day. Very simple premise. Just stranger shows up in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
You have all kinds of questions. And there's your movie.
Oh, I like
what
that.
The hell happens with these strangers and this people, and and that's basically the movie.
Yeah, it is very much like a Western. But
yeah,
just like but in a post-apocalypse setting. Which really does work. I mean, honestly, you could just a Western could just be a post-apocalypse movie. Like you could just redo a Western in post-apocalypse. Well, it's also like they did with the Magnificent Seven. It was originally
we've already seen that. We reviewed one of those. Remember, Stagecoach was turned into Neon City.
Oh, that's right.
And the Michael Ironside movie.
That's right.
One of the few movies where Ironside is the hero.
Oh yeah, and
yeah.
So thankful we finally, or that I did get to at least see one of those ever.
See one of them, yeah.
Yeah.
So this movie that's basically the premise. Now, when we get to the end of it, we don't really ever find out what's going on with Smith and why people are after him. No. Just that people are after him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what changes is they finally get to the end, and he's able to construct a flying machine that does work.
Yes.
And it will fly. And then it comes down to, the scene is amazing.
Well, whenever he has that model in that box or whatever, that wind tunnel box or whatever it is, and he's just like laughing maniacally, I genuinely, I was just kind of like watching it. And at first I was like, okay, that's going on a while. And then eventually I just started laughing, like out loud.
It is
like
over the top.
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't help. It's one of those infectious laugh type situations where I was like, well, now I'm laughing at it. So,
oh God, yeah.
It was awesome.
And then all along the way, we get these like visually amazing scenes. Every time they're trying to fly the new contraptions, you get a really amazing visuals. It's just
one of my favorite visuals in the movie. Oh, absolutely. No, yeah, no, because I mean, it's just
Yeah, yeah.
the
What was one of
angles
your
are
favorite
great.
visuals? I'm
So
curious.
my favorite, I think one of my favorite visuals, the one that really stood out to me early on and stayed with me the whole time, was when Smith is about to leave that first morning,
Yeah,
and it's Felix on one side and Smith almost to like in between the right and the middle of the scene. He's kind of in between. He's not centered, but he's not all the way to the right.
yeah,
I don't know why, but them just sitting there talking prolonged in uh this like wide shot. I loved it. I mean, it was
yeah,
gorgeous. This red sand desert with the blue sky in the background, and that's all there is.
yeah,
That's and it's just these two dudes, one in his wheelchair, and the other one standing there, and they're just kind of talking to each other. And I don't know. There's just something I really liked about that visual. There was like, oh god,
oh yeah,
that's really good. That's a really good shot. It's a really good framing, and I don't know
yeah.
that.
It's where you can understand why people call Kevin Smith lazy, because it premise that scene is just two people talking, just like a
Yeah.
Kevin Smith movie would be. But visually, how, like you described it, the framing of it, where people are, the background, how everything is set up, is all very intentional.
Mm-hmm.
And that part is very much like that shows the exact opposite of laziness. You're putting
Absolutely.
a lot of thought into how this is going to look on the other side once it's printed and filmed. And
Mm-hmm.
so you can kind of understand a couple years later in the mid 90s when Kevin Smith made Clerks and people called him out for being just kind of like a visually lazy.
Yep.
And you're like, yeah, the camera doesn't move at all. It's just two people talking. And literally, that is the most basic you get. It is
That
nothing
really
more.
is. That's
Yeah,
so
my favorite visuals here, two of them that really stood out to me. One of them is at the beginning of the movie with all of the little power lines
mm-hmm.
and how they're like the symmetry of them and how many feet they are apart, and then the shadow of the cross that they create
Yes.
on the ground, which is a motif you see repeated again and again and again.
Oh yeah.
This movie is the simplicity of the plot makes it very clear that this movie is some kind of allegory for what I do not know, but
Not
I
real
feel like
sure.
it may be multiple things, but definitely
Oh yeah.
something involving redemption, religion, and spirituality.
Yeah,
I think those
absolutely.
things are very clear. The other visual I really liked, kind of coinciding with that one, is towards the end of the movie, whenever he is waking up and he's
Mm-hmm.
in bed, Smith that is, and through the window you see the desert, but you also like the way the sun is beaming in through the window. It crosses through the light in such a way that it creates a cross on his body
Yeah.
as he's waking up on his face. And it doesn't like the camera doesn't make a big thing about it. It doesn't like show him a close up of it. It's a wide angle thing where you see from a distance him waking up, and if you just look as he's waking up, you notice that there's like a little light that looks like a cross that's perfectly symmetrical on his back. So it's like, okay,
Yes.
the author is trying to tell us something here, and I'm
Right.
catching on to what you're doing. So
There was
by the end of the
another.
movie, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's another shot. Just thinking about all the shots in this movie, like every shot is memorable. I mean, basically, so to the point where like as you remember one, you start to like, oh, but there was that one. Oh, but then there was that other one. Like that one that you were talking about reminded me of another one where they were framing behind Smith, but we were looking basically from behind a cross that has, I guess, the Jesus figure on it, but you could
Yeah,
only see like the bottom of it, but you knew what it was,
yeah,
but it was like that was off to the side of the frame, and then like in the very foreground, and then you had Smith there, and it was basically like, I don't know, there was just something really cool about that shot too. It was like
oh
we're
yeah.
just we're off to the side of the room, and we're just looking at it from through like a
Yeah,
peephole or something. I don't know. Like
yeah, yeah. Visually, this movie is amazing.
it's so interesting. Like
So,
it's
yeah, by the time we get to the end of it, the flying machine has been made, and
mhm.
Felix is trying to plead with Betty that it's time for them to go. And Betty
Mhm.
keeps reminding him that whenever Dad died, you promised you wouldn't fly. And
Yep.
Felix is like, I lied.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to fly. He wants out of here. He doesn't want to live in this way with her in this middle of nowhere anymore. And her reaction to it, I thought, was brilliant. After, he breaks her instrument out of a fit of anger, and her reaction whenever he gets ready to walk out, her thinking he's leaving forever, and she says, "What am I supposed to do now?"
Yeah,
which I thought was like very, very good. Yeah, that's why people are like the acting is bad. I'm like, that seemed pretty fucking good to me.
That was good.
I liked that part. Yeah, she says, "What am I supposed to do now?"
I got it, and it hit me, and it
immediately
powerful.
tells you what he's going to do.
Exactly,
because you see his reaction, which is like he knows. Like it's almost like that. I almost felt the same way, like whenever I left. Just connecting it to my personal life. Whenever I moved away from my parents for the first time,
mm-hmm.
And that that feeling I got when I left them, and being like, like I'm doing this, I'm going away, and it's going to hurt you, but at the same time, like they express, like, you could stay if you want. Yeah. And so I just see like his reaction here is one of like he wants to go, but he also knows that he can't.
Right.
And so he makes the ultimate decision to stay behind.
Yep.
And after Smith leaves on the plane and successfully clears and is gone, Felix is like, when he wheels his wheelchair up to the edge, he's just kind of staring out into the distance as the camera just focuses in on him.
Mm-hmm.
And the shed behind him falls apart because of all the parts they've taken off of it.
Yeah.
And you just see him kind of staring into the distance, like happy that his friend is gone, but also just kind of like thinking of like, is almost like, did I make the right choice? But also like almost that like accepting of the fact, like, I know I couldn't have left.
Right.
And yeah, I thought the movie that's where it ends.
Yeah.
I thought this movie was amazing. I thought this was a really, really like brilliant little movie.
Oh, honestly. Absolutely. No, yeah, this is just gorgeous. And I think everybody's wrong about the acting. I think it's good. And this isn't even like a thing about me with certain movies where I would defend movies that people generally don't like. This is just, okay, it is kind of like that, but I'm also right about the other ones. I'm not going to get off that one.
Find a way to slip in the stupids in every single episode.
It's the hill I will die on. Everybody has a hill. Mine is the stupids. I don't know. It's where I'm at. It's what my life's about. But God, it's just so. I mean, just. I think the part that they're thinking of when they think of the bad acting or something like that is certain parts of how the sister acts. Yeah. No. Sorry.
God, she acts a little over the top and insane, but she's supposed to be kind of like losing her mind.
Yeah, that's part of the character. And also, I don't think it would work. I don't think the ending would work without it. I just, it's...
No, the ending wouldn't work without it because he knows he can't leave her. Because he knows that, like, if he leaves her, she's just gonna... She can't, she's gonna die. She can't take care of herself.
She cannot function on her own. That is not gonna happen. So... Yeah, no.
The entire time she thinks he's a demon, Smith is, and she wants to kill him because he must be a demon. And
yeah, she can't
hasn't
be around
over
Dad
dying. Yeah, she can't. She hasn't gotten over Dad dying. She basically just changes outfits every day and sits around playing her instrument very, very poorly.
Yeah,
in the middle of the desert to nobody. So yeah, she's kind of having a little bit of a mental break.
I would say.
And Felix isn't really faring much better, but I think after his interaction with Smith, he seems to have a little bit more hopefulness.
I think so. I think
at least he's seen that like he can get out if he really wanted to. He could build another plane. He could fly out if he
It's sort of like you could see where they were both in this like this deep, I don't know, emotional pit of some kind.
Yeah,
and he is trying. He's finding a way out, and she's just stuck.
Yeah,
like there's no way out for her. But he found a way
definitely like a heavy allegorical movie with its visuals and its its plot being like very, very simple, almost like a child story simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really love this movie. I thought it was amazing. It was one of those movies that after watching it, I was like, I don't know how I've gone my whole life without seeing that.
Yeah,
but I really appreciated everything that it presented. I thought it was great. A very silly title. It sometimes just goes by the name of Spirits, so you can maybe find it that way. It is streaming in a couple different places.
Yeah, I got it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's on Amazon Prime. It can be a little tricky to find at times.
Yeah.
But the internet is your friend.
Oh, absolutely.
Surf those webs.
Yeah. And again,
I really like it. Go ahead.
Australia hits it out of the park yet again for us.
Yeah. Another Australian post-apocalyptic movie that is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Visually amazing. And I think the only thing that I would say about the plot is a lot of people pointed out that the movie is a little on the long side.
Yeah.
But it's 90 minutes long, and I didn't mind it. I thought it went by rather quickly. At no point in time was I like, this movie is dragging.
No, I mean, because it's not really like I think these people are losing focus. It's not really about making the flying machine. That's that's just to keep it going. There's much more going on, and they're kind of getting lost into like, make the fucking thing fly. It's like, settle. Like, that's not what that's about.
It's about the journey.
It really is, and it's about what they're going through and how they're going through it, and I think that's what the focus should have been on. But they kind of, I don't know, they checked out because it was a little over the top at one point.
Yeah, true that. Well, speaking of checking out, we're going to check on out of here for the night. We will be back next week to talk about Avalon, which is its own special little movie of interesting things there. So we'll see you guys next week. Come along for that one. Bye.
Take it easy.
Hot damn, college boy. Thank you so much for listening. Every single week we come back with a new movie about the end of the world, or a movie about the beginning of the end of the world, or what happens after the end of the world, or maybe one day we just decide to watch Showgirls. Who knows? Right? But every week we are coming back, and thank you so much for stopping in this week and listening to the whole episode and hearing our thoughts on whatever train wreck of a movie I chose to force my friend to watch this week. I'm a good person like that. And thank you for also being a good person. There you go. If you want to be a really, really fucking cool person, which you obviously are, why don't you give us a like, and actually, more importantly, give us a subscribe. I find that to be more important. I don't know if the algorithm says it is. I don't really give a shit. But thank you for your patronage either way, and clicking all the things and doing all the stuff. Bye. Thanks.